And here we are. Let's see how this is working. What's up, Dave?
Oh, nothing much. That's just seeing how this thing is working.
Thank you for coming on and helping me test this thing. I don't know how well it's going to do or how sucky it's going to be. Hopefully it's going to do well and I don't have to hear anything from anybody.
That's impossible.
It's improbable. Yeah, so give us your name. Full name, because everybody calls you Majo.
Yeah, there's some discrepancy to that because it would actually technically it would be Majo, but I think the Majo just took it took a charm on its own, so I just kind of let it happen, and everybody just says Majo, but it's Majowitz is the actual pronunciation of it in the, but Majo's Majo. It flows just as good as Majo, so I'll take it.
Awesome.
Except with that one time, was it on SNY that who is it, Gary? So when they did the thing with the Keith Hernandez print on the side of his car, and he completely butchered.
Yeah, I don't know how he butchered that. That was
Majo. That's what it was. Right?
Majo. Dave Majo.
I'll take that too.
So we took your artwork and we're going to butcher your name.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the praise, but I'm from Tom's River like Todd Frazier, so it's okay.
Do you do traffic reports?
Yeah, no, I don't, but I actually follow his. It's a lot closer to the real thing than it is if you follow other traffic reports. Hey, look.
Yeah, so Dan is checking in with us.
Cool.
And he's testing this. We can see his comment. We can, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I can actually put it on the screen. This is some great technology.
Yeah, that's cool.
In the past, I had to do like so much work between putting things together to send it out, and this platform is so much easier now.
Right.
So hopefully this will work when we do the virtual QBC.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
All right. So everybody, I'm going to be honest. Dave's one of my friends. I pal around with him a lot on Twitter, off Twitter. I make a lot of fun of him, but he's really a talented artist. And I just, you and I, we really don't talk about your art. We talk about it, but we don't. I've never really delved into like, when did you start deciding to do the banner / tifos, and like what other, like when did it actually start working for you that you wanted to start doing like sports inspired artwork?
I think it was an accident. I never planned on doing it. I always, like when I first started, painting and stuff, it was the high school like projects that I had to work. Sorry, my cat is driving me nuts here. Like the typical high school stuff. Give me a second. This is insane. Go play. All right. You try to be nice and let them in stay, and then they interrupt your day. So I never really found my own like style until probably I was like in my early 20s, and the whole baseball thing was never really a part of anything. I always focused on like doing movie scenes. Like my first big like lines of paintings, I always did famous scenes from movies, or I would do rock stars or something. Like it was never a goal to do a baseball thing. And then I have the Blue Claw Stadium is 5 minutes away from my house. It's actually the town I teach in. So it was kind of, they always have like promotions and stuff, and Doc Gooden was going to be there. So I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if I painted a picture of him and got it signed. So just did it, painted a picture of him, got it signed, and then kind of just sat on it for a while. And then it was when Darren was doing with the 7 line, I believe it was the Love for Lisa benefit. So that was probably, I don't even know, 2012 maybe, early on probably. And I donated the painting to that, and it got a big reaction, and it kind of was just like, oh, maybe there's something to this. And then, the QBC thing started, and it was kind of following along with that. And I'm like, oh man, this is like really cool. And I do it just as my own personal thing, really. Like I do try to bring, prints and stuff, obviously, to QBC. And if people do want them, it was easier then than it is now to get prints made for some reason. But it's more or less, it was like a personal collection kind of thing. I'm not like an autograph hunter really, but it became a thing to paint a picture of a player that I would like to meet, and then it kind of turned into people wanted it, and it like snowballed from there. And now it's kind of like my seasonal thing. Like now I'm getting into the groove of, all right, I got to start painting Met stuff because it's getting close to that time. But it was never initial. It was never an initial goal to do sports artwork.
Well, that's like when we were down in spring training. You had the print for Dom Smith, and then you had the book to get signed for a mini match.
Yeah, that was the Don Smith thing was funny because I used to work for a Chevy dealership. I was a mechanic before I was an art teacher now, and the company that I worked for was having like this truck show, and they were like, and I heard it on the radio like a week in advance, like, and Mets first baseman Dom Smith. I'm like, get the hell out of here! He's going to be in Tom's River? Like that? That's awesome. So spent a couple of days, did a painting of him. It was actually the first one I did that. I did like almost a series of them where like the color was dripping from the paintings. I know the Flexin one was one of them, and Nemo. So it was that QBC years when I did all those. And when I brought it to Dom to get signed, he like looked at it. He asked me if he could keep it, and I was like, well, "No, man, I'm sorry. It's the only one I have." I didn't want to give it up to him, but I told him, I was like, "I'm coming down to spring training, and I'll bring you a print." And sure enough, we did. And I remember he even like tweeted something, I think, and then sent me a message too, like thanking me for it. That it was cool that I remembered to do that. I was like, no, that was like my goal. I wanted to make sure he did have one. So then I kind of felt bad. I'm like walking away. I'm like, damn it, man. He asked me if he could keep my painting, and I told him no.
But that was even better because then at least you had a reason to meet him a second time.
Yeah, exactly. It's as nice of a guy as you'd think he would be. That was awesome. That was a cool experience.
Let's see. We got a question from Dan.
Yeah.
Is there a player that you haven't done yet that you want to?
That I haven't done that I want to? Gosh, you know what? Probably. There's got to be. I had a list going for a while of players that I wanted to do, and then it kind of always turns into, well, it would be like, well, who's going to be a QBC? I want to do those guys first, just in case, to have those paintings done. But I don't know. I think for the most part, a lot of the current players I've done, I actually haven't done an Alonso, like a legit Alonso one yet. So he's definitely on the list. Other than that, I mean, I probably should do an updated DeGrom. I only have long-haired ones. I haven't painted him in a while. But I don't know. That's probably I don't know. There was one picture, actually. Darryl Strawberry just put it out. I forgot if it was on Twitter or Instagram. And it was like Ray Knight and Keith Hernandez and all them in the dugout. And I was like, damn, man, that would be a great picture. Like that would just be a really cool painting, as opposed to just doing a one-player piece, like doing a scene from like, but then I'd try to have to, find out who the photographer was or where that picture came from, because with my luck, it'd be like, I'm not going to hit it big. I'm going to hit it with a copyright problem. But I think Alonso, he'll probably be next. I think I'm probably going to get one going with him.
Awesome. You know what? I'm going to show a video of what you did with Syndergaard.
Yeah.
Throw it up here really quick so people can be familiar with your artwork. I don't know if everybody is, so this should be about 30 seconds. Yeah, this will be about 30 seconds. We'll be right. And we're back.
Hello.
So that's a great picture that you did. I like when you do the time lapse stuff because it makes you pay attention more to the detail when it's coming out and everything.
Right.
So
the crazy thing is like I don't even know why I did that Syndergaard picture. It was for some reason. I don't remember what it was, why I did it or posted it, but it's cool that you say like it's interesting to see the time lapse, because a lot of times the time lapse paintings I tell a difference when I look at them. I could see like it's not as good or it's a little bit rushed because I'm painting it usually in one sitting as quick as I can to do a time lapse. But it's like, I'm not saying like an artist is like a magician. You don't want people to see your secrets, but it's kind of like, you don't. And I paint ass backwards. I start with black, which is usually like not the good thing to do, but that's like one of those things I remember I did it. And I forgot somebody. I don't remember if it was Graphics Joker or someone was just like, I can't believe you start with black. That's like, I guess in the artist world, it's like, ooh, I'm a rebel.
All right, there, Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you did me a favor. I became pretty good friends with Robin Lord Taylor from Gotham.
Yeah, that's right.
He was always super nice to me from the beginning. Like I got on the show and I wanted to do something for him, and you were able to do an awesome picture of the
The Penguins.
yeah, the main Penguins, Danny DeVito, Burgess Meredith, and Robin Lord Taylor.
Yeah.
I told him like if he didn't want it, he could donate it or whatever because your artwork is really good, and I figured he could have got good money for it. He's like, I'm not giving this up. This thing's
right.
he goes, nobody's ever thought to do this for me like
That's
that,
awesome.
and captured all the all three of the looks and did a great job on it. So, I want people to realize what how good of an artist you are.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like you don't get enough credit at times.
Right. See, it's hard, man. It is. I think a lot of it too is like it's the good and evil of social media is like it's so cool to have such an easy outlet to express your art and to show your art and stuff. And especially like when I was in high school, social media didn't exist. So it was kind of, local people knew who you were. And that was it. Like with a little downtown area here, there was a building we did a mural, and that was pretty much my exposure. Me and my brother painted a mural, and I got a couple of freelance jobs from that. But, I think it's probably the same thing with a lot of musicians as well. It's like that social media is great, but then there's so many people that it gets diluted, I think, after a while. And then it's, I probably could do a much better job of exposing myself on social media and really getting out there, but it's kind of like I'm not bred to know the ins and outs. Like I look at some people and they have like 20,000-30,000 followers, and I think I have like 800. I'm like, wow, I got 800. That's awesome. Half of them might be fake, I don't know, but it's like, it's hard. And then it's, I think sometimes it's like disheartening to paint a picture that I'm really proud of, and I'll put it out there and it'll get like 15 likes. That's always kind of like a bummer. Like, oh man, what the hell? Why? That should be more. But if it wasn't for social media though, like I wouldn't have connected like with the 7 line and gotten involved with the banners and QBC and everything. Like, and none of that ever would have happened. So it's kind of like, as a couple of people have said to me, like, man, you should be doing this as a career. And it's like, yeah, tell me how, and I'll gladly do it. It would be awesome, but it's hard, but I like it. It's still a hobby, and it's still fun. Sometimes it gets a little nerve wracking and loses its interest, but it's still a good time.
Yeah, but as long as it's fun, that's what the main thing is,
Right.
As long as you can pay the bills with the main job, and you have fun doing what you're doing, at least it's not feeling like work then.
Right, exactly.
When you stress, like I've talked to you when you've stressed out trying to finish the banner.
You're like, oh, that's every time.
What am I going to do? I don't know what. I'm just like, dude, just relax.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Sometimes you get overwhelmed with it. And then the funny is too is like a couple of people ask, like, oh, how much do you make on these? And I'll honestly say, right, I've never made $1 off of a banner that I've done. I do it because it's as cliche or as corny as it is. It's like just seeing like the pictures that like the 7 line will put up of the crowds holding it is what makes it awesome. And it's just like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then there's like the few key ones. Like to me, the one that always stood out was the 86 reunion game when Gary Carter's son and wife were like there on his behalf. And there's somebody took an awesome shot of the 7 line is out in center field. They're holding up the banner and they're standing next to it. So that was just like, that's awesome. Like it doesn't get any better than that kind of thing. But if there was ever a market for paid tifos, man, I would be all over that.
Well, I have the only tifo from 2020.
That's right. Yeah. Spring training, one and only. Damn.
That was
going to go in a museum someday.
So people that don't know this, I had to drive all the way down to Tom's River to go get the tifo off of Dave to make sure I got down to spring training, because he was doing his day job, and then he was rushing doing the tifo too, and he thought he was going to go down to spring training. Wasn't too sure.
Yeah.
Then I came in. I'm like, all right, here's the tifo. Then Darren's like, oh, so should we bring it back to him? I'm like, I got to take this back. If I'm taking it back,
didn't we put it on Twitter? Just like if somebody wants to buy it, like you have it, find
Yeah.
Keith and just give him money for it.
Exactly. I was like,
That's awesome.
hey, it's game used. Come take it. Now people, if they would have known it's the only one,
Right?
I would have.
That thing's got to go in the archives as like the one and only for that year. It was the easiest year for painting banners, I'll tell you that.
We'll break it out the next live QBC.
Yeah.
Do a Dave Majo backdrop.
Right.
Talking about Tom's River, I don't know how many people actually know what you did for Frazier with his cleats.
Yeah, no, I don't. There's like a couple of stories behind that. So we had I just messaged him out of nowhere on Instagram one day, just being like, I'd like to, get into the idea of painting cleats. I've seen some people paint them, and I'm not, raining on anybody's parade, but some of them I look at and I'm like, oh, dude, I think I could probably do something a little better than that, and at least try it out and see, how it rolls. So I started doing a lot of like the Vans shoes for friends and family and stuff, like different cartoons and other stuff on there. And I'm like, I think I could really do this. I want to try a player like doing that. And I tried Twitter a bunch of times, just, trying to get players' attentions, and nothing would ever come out of it. Finally messaged Frazier, which I was in touch with him from a painting I did, and then met him and like had him sign the painting and stuff. And, kind of a little bit kept in touch with just like artwork related stuff with that. And I asked him, I was just like, he was going to the Rangers. They weren't sure what was going on because COVID shut down spring training. So it was like a luck of the draw that he was back in Tom's River for a while. So, I mean, he lives not even 10, maybe 15 minutes if there was traffic away from me. So, I just got in touch with him, and he was just like, no, let me call you. So we just, had a phone conversation for a while about like what he would want to do. And, there wasn't an agreement with the players yet. So it was kind of down to like, within the next week, here's a pair of cleats, but I'm not sure if I'm going, if I'm not going, where we're going to be, if whatever, happens. And he gave them to me. And sure enough, like the next day they agreed and the players all shipped off. So he went from Jersey to Arizona, I think. Were they in Arizona for spring training? Yeah. So yeah, he's in the Cactus League for that at the time. And, I had like 3 days to paint cleats for the Rangers for him on there. And I'm just like, there's no way I'm getting these done, dried, back to his house for him to fly out. So, we just kind of kept in touch through texting and just like asking him what he wanted, what, designs or anything, what specifically, and, kind of just came to an idea of what he wanted. I painted them, made sure they're dried. It was funny. I sent them out to him, and he wanted them for opening day, like the regular season opening day. And they got to him about 2 weeks before opening day in Texas, but the shoes themselves had to quarantine for 14 days. Mm-hmm. Just the shoes. So I'm like, but it's just shoes. Like, I don't understand. What do you mean? That's insane. He was like, he was trying to get them out earlier and couldn't, and everything. And he literally, they gave them to him, I think, a day early just so he can have them for opening day. But yeah, it was funny too. He called me when he was in the clubhouse, like we're putting them on, and he was just like, dude, what's your Twitter handle? I can't find it. I want to tweet it out and all that stuff. I was like, and I could barely hear it because like the other players in the background yelling and screaming and stuff. I was like, this is a surreal moment. But then I was thinking, I'm like, man, I graduated a year after this guy. I'm older than him, and I'm the one that's like, oh yes, Mr. Frazier, sure. Like, what else are you? My Twitter handle is this. He's like, oh yeah, all right, cool. And such a nice guy. Like, he really is cool. And we kept in touch again when he came back to the Mets, and originally wanted a September 11th pair of shoes to be done, but then they weren't going to be home. They played that game away. So the idea we had for that, I was going to switch them to do for the last game of the season. And I think everything kind of got just sloppy towards the end of the year. And they all just kind of came to a thing where it was just like, I had the shoes done and they could go to him, but he was just like, now he's not on the Mets anymore. So I actually have a pair of his cleats that are painted that, or Mets design, like they have FDNY and NYPD on the other ones, like for September 11th. But it's like, now he doesn't know where he is. I'm probably going to either paint over him or have a pair of cleats that, he never wore or is never going to wear.
Or maybe he should just take them, sign them, and auction them off or something.
I said that to him, like, because there's a lot of he does a ton of stuff with little league teams around here, like, because obviously he was in the Little League World Series and all that stuff. And he has a lot of different schools and stuff for the kids and everything, and supports the team. I was like, that might be a good, never before used, never before seen type of thing to auction off, and then could go for something good.
We got Joe DeMeo saying, "Sup, Keith? No love for Dave, though."
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Joe's a good guy. I really like Joe. He's another one that supports the QBC a lot. I don't know if you've actually talked to Joe too much.
I don't know. I'm horrible with names, and that's like what's insane is I'm a teacher, and I can't tell you a name from a person from a face. I'm good with faces. I'll look at it and be like, oh, I know that guy. Like from a quick glance, I'll remember a face, but names are no.
I love this comment thing. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is really cool.
If anybody wants, Joe DeMeo is at PSL to Flushing. He's great on Twitter. He has a lot of good insights with minor leagues. So he's another buddy of mine. So, guys, check him out. Dave, throw your Twitter handle out too, since you refuse to really be Twitterati.
You know what? I had to actually look at it because I forgot. I think there's an underscore in it.
Yeah. That's how I remember it.
It is at Dave_Majo. That's my glorious Twitter handle. If I type something, would it come up? No, it doesn't, right? On this.
Wait, I'll just do it.
Yeah, I forgot. I remember there's like an underscore thing going around. Like, who the hell puts underscore? I think Darren actually posted that one. Yeah, He's like, who puts underscores in their Twitter handles? I was like, well, I do. There was another Dave Majo that took my thunder.
There we go. That's it right there.
There she is.
See, now you got to throw out from the Queens Baseball Convention with your Twitter handle.
That world.
So I think we should just talk about, are you excited about Lindor? Maybe drawing him, Carrasco?
You know what? Yeah, I thought about that. I was just like, my first instinct, it was funny. Like, the first instinct when I heard, like, all right, we landed these two guys, like, for, in my opinion, dirt cheap. Like I think a lot of people are in the same boat, like kind of like, wow, that we gave that up for them. Like that's a pretty damn good deal. And it seems, very positive and very uplifting. I was like, 2 days ago, everybody's ready to kick Cohen to the curb. And now all of a sudden it's typical people on social media. But I thought that first. I'm like, man, I was like, I really got to paint him. Like that's got to be the next thing. So it's not like I didn't feel like I missed my boat. They didn't do like their introduction stuff yet, so I still feel like I have some time to do something. But maybe I'll do like a time lapse type of Syndergaard thing, like you showed, to kind of pump up the volume a little bit to get something in. But I don't know. I kind of have a feeling that there's going to be more. Like I think something else is gonna splash soon. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not a big time, tier 1 free agent, I think they're going to get a tier. 1A or 1B, which with the talent on the team, you don't need to go too crazy.
Right.
Like, would it be great to have a Springer? Sure.
Yeah.
Before you got on, I was just reading that there might be a trade with the Cubs with Chris Bryant.
I saw that too. Yeah. I saw for I heard it was a couple of days they've been talking about it. Like there's been communication back and forth. So that could be pretty interesting, I think. I don't know. But I also feel like there might be, like, is that going to be worth it? Like, what are they going to give up for him? But I think luckily that's where, like, Sandy Alderson kind of has a good head on his shoulders and won't let anything too drastic happen, Well,
like, what if the Wilpons would do? Like, oh, yeah, we'll take your player, but, you got to eat some of the salary.
Right.
It's like, here, we'll give you some of our, decent talent, and we'll take the salary.
Right.
So it's a totally different ball game now, so...
absolutely.
Who knows what's going to come in and who you're going to get to be drawing, and maybe you'll be working on some cleats. Who knows?
I don't know. That's gotta think. It's definitely something I never thought I would get in. It was like one of those things where I never even knew. Like, I guess I knew like players always had custom cleats and stuff, and I'm like, I never knew they were hand painted. I found a few people, like I follow them on social media and stuff, and I was just like, damn, like, a lot of them like airbrush, and they still kind of get like that graphic look. I was like, yeah, but I want to bring the idea of like hand painted to the cleats, but I think it's kind of hard to show that off and make it known. Like some people might look at it and be like, oh, that looks like it's hand painted. Why doesn't it look good? Like that's kind of a touchy thing. And plus they're on their feet. So how often do you really see cleats unless it's like a picture of them where it's actually shown for a long period of time, like on TV or something, if it's a real special pair. But yeah, I'd like to definitely do some more. I guess wherever Todd goes, I'll have a second pair for him. So I don't think he's coming back to the Mets though.
Now, like, how hard is it to decide what kind of paint you're going to be putting on the cleats? Is it rubberized? Just straight up.
I've used acrylics actually. A couple of people, like I know if you're using like a leather cleat or something, like if they have like a leather surface on any parts, if there are certain paints you should use that won't crack and kind of bend a little bit. But I was kind of thinking that too. I was just like, well, all the canvas shoes that I've painted, I've used acrylics and I've never had a problem with them. But yeah, as so far, it's kind of been trial and error. I do enough research to figure out like, right, what can't I use? Like what's gonna stick or what's not gonna stick or what's gonna flake off. If paint these shoes for Todd Frazier, he takes a run to first base and all of the paint flakes off, and that would be pretty terrible. So luckily that didn't happen. But
it was Dave_Majo.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Tom's River. Damn it.
I gotta get out of that town.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Social media?
I guess. Well, everything on social media is Dave Majo. Just my underscore is Twitter. That's the only thing. But I think just as far as I know, my Instagram is just regular Dave Majo, one word. But that's pretty much it. I'm just looking forward to what the season could be. Hopefully, somewhat normal. Get back out there and I was kind of hoping for a spring training trip this year, but I think that looks like it's probably not happening.
I think 2022.
Yeah. It kind of just seems like leave well enough alone, and if they do let fans in, it's going to be so minimal. At least it's in Florida, and I know they're a little more lackadaisical with all the tightening the reins on everything. But hopefully, it's kind of a little bit more back to normal and see what happens.
Yeah, until I'm able to get the vaccine with work, I ain't going anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Are you considered like one of those people like off not frontline worker, but like
essential?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. In California, production's considered essential by the governor. Now, with us, we're not essential, but they realize that our COVID guidelines are really high, right, and that the production companies are taking like no risks. So they wanted, plus we also bring a whole bunch of money into the states. Right. Like, I don't know if you saw Governor Murphy just signed a bill that the film industry can get up to like $2 billion in tax breaks.
Wow.
And that'll end up bringing, 15 to 16 billion back into the state.
Mm-hmm.
Just like New York State is 240 million, and we bring back between 13 and 15 billion a year too.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, so I wouldn't.
You should be in line for it then.
Hey Frank with the Let's Go Mets, awesome. I'm glad this other thing is working really well. This messaging. This is what I was saying about the other streaming platforms. You don't have some stuff like this, and it's so easy just to throw somebody up. I'm loving this. So
yeah, this is cool.
I'm glad everybody that jumped in. I don't want to keep Dave too much longer on this because
this is my Friday night.
I know, but I think we're both going to run out of stuff to talk about. So, check out Dave's artwork. Dave's awesome. He does great stuff. He's also a jerk, but.
Yeah. I don't mean to be. It just happens.
Don't worry, you're my jerk. But anyway, for everybody that jumped in here and checked out online and helped us with this test, I might do another test tomorrow night. I might do with somebody else. I might bring Dave back. Who knows? Maybe I'll ask Joe DeMaio if he's not doing anything to jump in. But thank you for jumping in. We're trying to work on something with the virtual QBC. Maybe I'll even make an announcement live through this. So hopefully it'll all work out. And thank you guys. Thank you for the QBC support, and thank you for checking it in.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. It just came out.